on blast.
But we will move on to, I guess, someone who also shouts out the Golden State Warriors a lot, you know, in our Ask on Blast segment.
This would be one of your fans that you're talking about here.
Yes. One of the teams that he cheers for, Mr. Aubrey Graham, also known as Drizzy Drake, released an album. And of course, we got to talk about that in our Ask on Blast segment. Webby, Scorpion, have you taken in the Scorpion album?
I have.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Andrew Webster?
I've got a question for you, Shelley.
Okay.
Is Drake a rapper or is Drake a singer?
Drake is a musician.
No, he's not. Drake does not play any instruments. Drake is not a musician.
I tried to cheat there, and you got me, Webby. You got me. I tried to cheat.
I would give you that Drake is an artist.
Drake is an artist. Yes, thank you.
But if you had to put him into one box, rapper or singer, what box would you put him in?
Drake is a pop star.
No, that's not one. I got two boxes.
He's a singer. He's a singer.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. I got it. He's a vocalist. How about that?
Okay.
I'm just trying to cheat here. I'm not lying to you.
As you said, Drake is a singer.
Okay.
And he is a much better singer than he is a rapper. And that's what Scorpion has showed me.
Interesting.
The first half of this album is absolute garbage. and it's like the personification of everything that Pusha T was talking about in his diss record. His raps are dumb.
Yeah.
Those beats on the rap songs on the rap side are awful and horrendous and boring. There's nothing going. The song with Jay-Z is embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
You know what?
The whole first half of the second half of this album, it would be in my top 5 so far.
Wow.
Dude, there's a run on this album that goes from like Ratchet Birthday Party to I've Got You in My Feelings or whatever. It's like a 4-track stretch.
That's a song with the OBJ dance that's like going viral right now, right? Where all these kids are just doing the dance. It's like, CC, do you love me? Like that song?
Yo, yeah. Dude, and it's got the other single that came out that I like, the Nice for What?
Yeah.
It's got that little sample where he uses Future as well. Dude, the second half of this album is major league. That Ratchet Birthday Party beat it's probably the best beat I've heard this year. I mean, it's fantastic. And the other thing is, you didn't really like. I kind of like that whole like passion fruit vibe that he had on the album before.
Yeah,
I like that, and I think that's why I like this second half of the album so much. But like, listen, Drake has to stop rapping. Like he has to, he has to put it down.
What about rapping on featuring tracks?
No, maybe on the sure, once in a while you could do a feature, but man, like you're not a rapper. You're not a good rapper. You're rapping with this high-pitched, whiny voice. Your flow's the same on every song. Your beats are boring, okay? I want to hear good rappers. I want to hear Kendrick. I want to hear Chance. I want to hear Push. I want to hear Nas. I want to hear shit. I'll listen to Kid Cudi.
You haven't even mentioned Jay, and I'm hurt by that, Webby.
Well,
I'm hurt that you haven't mentioned Jay.
That's because I'm very disappointed in what he offered up on that trash song. It's awful. It's awful. It's brutal, and I was like, I'm there. I was listening to it the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, I gotta be listening to this, and it was such a struggle to get through the rap part, man. And it was like, I was like, this is everything that I hate about what Drake's trying to do. It's like complete fake tough guy, what you're gonna flip the switch on people? What you're gonna come out the car shooting? Like, are you joking me? This is, but then as soon as the second half of the album, I was like, all right, like this is a wing, and musically, sonically, they're night and day. Like when they get into singing Drake, those beats are amazing.
So, Webby, you said so much there that was so amazing that I agree with a lot of what you said. There's so much there that I had to write down certain points. So follow me for a second here, right? You talked about the second part of the album, right? And I will say that is a point that I've heard from a lot of people, that they enjoy the second half of that album. And when I heard that it was the R&B side the R&B side, let's say, I was kind of like, really? Like, am I going to like that? And you're right. Towards the end of that, there's a run on there where it's beautiful music, right?
It sounds so different and cool and summertimey.
So there's a lot of things, right? We know that Drake's camp is really good in terms of, I'm talking the Party Next Doors, the Majid Jordan or whatever that dude's name is. Like his camp in terms of the production team behind the R&B side is really, 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 really dope, right? But beyond that, Drake just makes great songs. And the reason why I had such a tough time answering your question is because I came to the realization a while ago that Drake isn't really a rapper, but he's not even interested in really being a rapper. He's just a rapper by name because that's technically the box that people aim to put black artists in mainstream music, right? And I'm talking like the Grammys and like dumbass shit like that, right? They want to put you in this box, and the box they're going to put you in is rapper or R&B or whatever, where Drake is bigger than that. Drake, and why I use the term pop star, like that's what's out there for like Beyonce's and Taylor Swift's and Katy Perry's and whatever. Drake makes dope music. That has never been an issue for me, you know, in being able to admit that. And I think what you're saying on the second half of that album, we hear a lot of that. The beats are fire. It's like soulful, like dope ass music. Now, you're talking about the rap side, okay? My thoughts on the first half of that album, I thought there are some beats that knock, some beats that are okay, but his flow on them isn't really that good. But more so, I don't think he's saying anything on any of these tracks, and that's more of my issue, right? And I think that's more the issue with, if you're of a certain age, we're still kind of like pining for what hip hop was to us. And I don't want to sound like the old man, even though I am the old man. But what I mean by that is hip hop was different, right? Like what people were talking about, like the reason why I love the hip hop that I love is because there was something to say. It was aspirational. It was inspirational, right? Like it was motivating. Like there was a message behind it. It was trying to get you to like better yourself or better your life or better your situation. It wasn't just all about, okay, smashing girls and popping bottles and whatever. And I get that. But now all hip hop or all rap music in 2018 is surrounding either doing drugs, being super depressed, or popping bottles. And that's it. There's no real like aspirational message or meaning behind it, right? And you kind of lose some of the art form. And I feel like we get it in like such small doses. And so when we do, that's why, you know, people rep so hard for J. Cole. That's why his stans rep for him so hard. That's why what Kendrick does is such a big deal, and why Kendrick is on such a massive platform. That's also why people are so mad at Kanye in 2018, right? Because when Kanye came out, right, Kanye was saying something.
Yeah, and he had a chance to really say stuff when this new album came out, and he just didn't. It was way more personal than it was outwards.
Exactly. So Drake is only really making rap songs, I think, because when he makes albums, he's making albums for a different reason, right? I think he's making albums because he's trying to cast the widest net possible to say, I think he even has a song where the hook is, you know, your grandma likes this, or your wifey likes this, your brother likes this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's trying to cast the widest net possible in saying, hey, dudes will listen to my album. They'll find a couple tracks on my album that they like. I'll have a couple tracks for the men dem. I'll have a couple tracks for the girls, obviously. I'll have the top 40 tracks. I'll have the songs that you can play on adult contemporary radio, you know? And I think that that's what he's trying to do with these albums, and that's why they're so long, because he's literally trying to get on everybody's playlist in your family.
Yes.
Right? Your playlist, your girl's playlist, your mom's playlist. He's trying to do that. And so we're used to an era where an album, you sit there and you listen cover to cover. That's not the era anymore.
Right.
And we almost got to let that go if that's what your expectations are. That's what I think the biggest issue is. Do I like the album overall? I don't know. I need more listens. Nothing really like jumped out at me. The hip hop side, the rap side, sorry. Again, there were some tracks that were okay, but the I felt left wanting more, right? Like I expected more. Like if I'm told this is the top rapper in the game, and again, it sucks because that's the term that he's plugged into because of the way the boxes are set up industry wide. If I'm told you're the top rapper in the game, I need better bars on some of these beats.
Oh, way better.
You mentioned
bars.
the J track. We've heard some of my favorite tracks of Dre and Drake. Wow, tongue twister there. Jay and Drake, right? They have some legendary tracks together. To me, like if you talk about Light Up, which was on Drake's first album, what was the one? Pound Cake, which is just like straight fire. Like these guys have songs to me that are dope. Like Pound Cake, I love that track. That song on Scorpion, yeah, that's not that good.
No,
I did not like that.
And I felt bad listening to it. Usually Jay, that's what he's made for, are these features on other people's albums or remixes, and both of them just come so flat, and it's no, I'm like erasing the first half of this album and only keeping it as a R&B singer album. Because man,
I definitely got to give it more listens, but overall, my biggest takeaway after I was done listening to it, Webby, I'm going to say this straight up, and I know a lot of people will be like, what the fuck? But after I listened to this album, I'm like, this reaffirms that my favorite album of the year so far is still Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap.
Oh,
that's still my favorite album of the year so far.
Oh, no. Mine.
And I mean, I liked a bunch of different albums. Like I liked the Nas album, I thought was good.
Yeah.
Not great, but it was okay, right? There's still some songs that I like on that album. I didn't like the Kanye album. Not really down with the Kanye Cudi album.
Daytona.
I like Pusha T still getting bumped hard. I love that album.
If you know.
Right? So
the other
there's
one
some things
is
here.
The Black Thought, Black Thought put out like a 6-7 track album that's just insanity. And I still got to take in the J-Rock album. Yeah,
I got to take that in.
Amazing.
I haven't fully taken it in yet. I've heard it's really good. I've heard good things. But the one question I have for you, going back to Drake for a second here, I heard a lot of people listen to this, and at the end of it, they said, well, where's the banger? There's no banger on this, right? Or there's no big time track on this. And again, I just want to emphasize a point I made earlier about albums are made completely differently nowadays. And part of that is he released the bangers way before the album came out. I was going to
say, Nice for What and God's Plan are the bangers, but they've been out for 3 months.
Exactly. So when we're listening to the album and we're waiting to hear what the next banger is, it's not really there. But in the context of just putting out an album, imagine if, midnight last Thursday, when did it come out? Thursday at midnight?
Thursday at midnight.
So imagine if that was the first time we heard Nice for What?
Oh.
Right? Just bump through your speakers at I don't know what time it would have been if you listened to it straight through, but 12:25 or whatever, right? That would have been Friday would have been crazy. Everyone bumping Nice for What? Because that track is fire. That sample is dope as fuck.
For me, it was yesterday at 5:25 listening to Ratchet Birthday Party. I finally slogged through all this hip hop, and I got to this amazing sample, amazing beat. One of the best songs of the summer, I think. It's so good.
So good. I mean, there's some songs on there that are super dope, super good songs, but overall as an album, I don't really think it's a good album, but I also think that he's not trying to make albums.
Right. He's trying to make
for
playlists.
Me in the traditional way that I consume albums. I put on Watch the Throne the other last night. I was flicking through music, and I was like, oh, I haven't listened to this in a while. And bam, cover to cover, it was just on. And good. And it reminded me of, okay, the reason why that works as an album is because it all kind of fits together, all kind of sounds the same, right? There's a, what Kanye labeled it, luxury rap kind of feel to it, right? It all kind of feels the same, it's on the same wavelength.
It's of one.
Yes. And albums nowadays don't really get made like that, or at least Drake doesn't put out albums like that anymore. I would say Drake. He's trying to make albums to be on everybody's playlist. At least you have a song from that album that will be on your playlist. Yes. And I think that's what it is.
That's a great point.